All right, so today we have Arielle on today. And so, Arielle, go ahead and share a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and your occupation.
Well, hello everyone. Thank you, Arterio, for the intro. My name is Arielle Thomas. I am a life insurance agent. I specialize in final expense. I am a broker as well. I've been in the industry now for the last 6 years. Started off with a company by the name of Lincoln Heritage. And then I transitioned into the broker side from there. I've been on the broker side for the last year and a half, and it's been phenomenal for me just to be able to offer more products to my clients. That's the main thing that has been my concern. And also, I don't really get to decline a lot of people now that I have different products that I'm able to offer. And being able to show them exactly what the price difference is, that's been truly just transformational within my business. So once the pandemic hit, I realized that I had to get on telesales because we were completely shut down here in Atlanta, Georgia, where I'm from. So I had to learn how to do the telesales. Through that process, the beginning of this year, I was really searching to try to figure out how to create my own leads, how to generate my own leads, because I know there's been several different lead sources I've been running into, and I just haven't found one that could be consistent with the amount of leads that I need to get on a daily basis to hit my goals. So I ran into the Arterial John Consulting video, one of his videos, looked at some of his testimonials, and I gave it all faith, and I said, let me go ahead and join the program and get the same results that everyone else is getting here with the reviews that he has. So since then, with the program. I've been in the program now for about 45 days, and I can definitely see the results. I remember I took literally 3 days as soon as I got the information and just went super hard at just setting up my Facebook ad, learning the algorithm of Facebook, just learning the culture that we have here, and really just put my faith to the test and doing the work.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, so thanks for sharing that and thanks for hopping on. And I see why you're having success. Your energy's like mine. You're on fire and I love it. And so I just want to kind of take a little step back. What made you get into the insurance business? How'd you get introduced to the insurance business in the first place?
Right. So I started right out of college. So I went to a school called Payne College. That's where I graduated from. Shout out to my HBCU.
Yeah, shout out to the Ace Man.
uh,
Fisk in the house, baby.
hey, let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, they did a career fair at the school, and they had a booth set up about how you can make $500 in a day. Now, with sales and insurance, I never was introduced to the business, but I knew somebody that knew the person behind the table. They said sign up. I signed up, went to an informational meeting. Out of 20 people out of the school, I was the only one to really go through with it. Everybody thought it was a scam. I'm a type of person that is like, well, if it doesn't work, I can try something else, but at least let me try. Because I mean, they're human. There's nothing magic about it. If they have a system and I can plug right into, I'm gonna go for it. So, ended up after they did the presentation at my school, I went to another informational meeting, and this all was in Augusta, Georgia, South Carolina area.
Hmm.
From that next meeting, I literally went ahead, got studied for my test, got it in 2 weeks, and I was in the field hitting and running. So I got my training. I got training for about a good 3 weeks, and I made my first sale on my own within that fourth week of business, and I've been rocking ever since. I love the that you're able to create your own schedule. Of course, the time freedom for me getting into insurance versus getting a 9 to 5 job. I come from an entrepreneur background. I actually have my CDL license with my family. We own our own trucking company, but it doesn't. It's not a passion for me. It's just something that I do because that's a part of my family history. But I wanted to find an avenue that would be important to me, where I can be able to let my light shine, but most importantly, have my time freedom back and just be an inspiration to others. So I'm also into agency building as well. I kind of got pushed into that situation as soon as I got into insurance. So I love being able to teach people the ropes of how to do the presentation. One thing we don't teach is work ethic. You got to have that desire for yourself. So with insurance, it allows me to be able to pour into others, not just in business, from every aspect of your life. Because how you do anything is how you literally do everything. So that's how I got started in insurance.
Yeah, and man, you said a lot in there, and there's a couple of things I want to unpack. But the most important thing is work ethic. And if there's one business that will expose any weakness that you have and show you what you're really made of and what work ethic that you have is the insurance business, right? Because
Absolutely.
it is, you get what you deserve.
Yep.
And if you put the work in, eventually, the things, the good things will happen because it's all about activity and effort.
That's right.
um, because you want to you gotta fail fast, and learn fast. So that's awesome. And so you say you didn't have a lot of passion with regards to the trucking business, right? That's kind of like a
Right.
birthright. So why are you so passionate about insurance?
It's really helping the people. Once I would say once my full year of insurance went about, I was 20, turning 21. My first year in the insurance industry, I bought in right at 55,000. I was able to travel, and while most of my friends were still in college, and they were, just trying to figure things out, I was able to just show them a different light, a different system that would be able to work for us, but you had to put the work in. So what I realized is I brought in a lot of my friends, right? And there's nothing wrong with a 9 to 5 job. If that's for you, then that's for you. And just like what you said, it exposed a lot of them. So from that experience of working with my friends and learning that most people, they don't want to schedule their own, they don't want to get up on time, they don't want to be out here 8 or 9 hours, they don't want to sacrifice and buy the leads, and I realized it was just all a part of the process. So when I get in front of the client, I'm literally just they're like our grandparents or just our friends. Like, you're literally helping them. And when I lost my first client, I still remember to this day. And the family, I reach out to the beneficiaries, which is extra referrals. I reached out to the beneficiaries. All my clients, their beneficiary knows who I am, and that I have their name, their phone number, vice versa. So when death occurs, I go a little extra mile. And there, if they have any questions when it comes to when death occurs. So when my first client passed away, just to see the impact that I have to help them, through that process and know that, oh, they weren't alone. It got a little personal for me. And I was able to not only help that client, but also help my family members. So it's the service part for me to be able to help provide and protect, when death occurs. So I think that's where the passion comes in at as well.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I love it. I love it. So so let's kind of transition. So what kind of things were you doing before you joined our program? What was the methods that you were using to try to build your business?
Right. So the methods that I use, like I said, I was doing telesales for about 9 months straight before I joined with Arterial Johnson Consulting. So literally, I would just be buying my leads from a telemarketing leads from a lead vendor. I would call the leads and literally just keep following up till I can schedule an appointment. I usually my goal is 100 dials a day, so I can at least be able to talk to at least 30 or 40 people, and be able to have at least 12 to 15 presentations to close 1 or 3 clients. Like, that was my whole agenda. So my day looked like I wake up at 7, go to the gym, do my meditation. From there, I have a prayer call that I do. By 9 o'clock, I'm in my chair, I'm making my phone calls. I'm from 9 to literally 10 o'clock at night because I have other licensed states. I try to get licensed in all 50 states. So, because with telesales, sometimes you just want wherever they pull you at, that's where I got it.
Yeah.
So at 10 p.m., that's usually where I end my day. I call it like 7 to 8 hours of power hours. So of course I'll take my breaks in between there. But I'm just literally trying to call as many people I can in an hour. So that was kind of like my system right there.
Awesome, awesome. So, I mean, it sounds like you were doing great. What was some challenges that you were facing, or what were some things that you wanted to kind of change? That made you look for something like this? What was the issue?
Time freedom. I just it just felt like it had to be like a better way. I would run into a lead vendor and I couldn't work with them for more than about 1 or 2 months. I'll pay my leads. Some of them you pay them as you go. I say put me on a lead occurring order, and then they got backed up on the lead. So I just kept running into them. I'm like, I need 100 leads consecutively on a weekly basis so I can continue to hit my goal like consistently. I'm all about the results. And it was tiring. It was burning me out. And I just was like, I need to find a way that could be really, you say it in your system, automatic.
Yeah, yeah,
With telesales, I wanted it to be automatic. I wanted to incorporate technology within insurance. I just didn't know how to do it. I knew other agencies were doing it out there. I didn't know what they were using. But again, your course, I ran into one of your videos.
yeah. Which is kind of what I want to transition is like, because you said that twice. You ran into one of my videos. Well, how did you come across one of the videos? Where did you come across it?
So I was Googling how to generate leads, and I was on YouTube, and your video popped up. I think you were by a ship. I was like, oh, he looks really normal, like really just chilling. And then I went from
Yeah,
there. I
like
went to
this.
your,
You're like
yeah, just
not a suit on. Yeah, just a normal person.
just yeah, just chilling. So, I watched the entire video. I was like, okay, he seems like a really, like he knows what he's talking about. So, I really didn't jump on it at first. I signed up, put my email into your account that you had, and I constantly got your emails back to back to back for 30 days straight, literally a month. And you ended up talking. It was one email you said you were talking about the pandemic and how how the system is. I can't remember exactly how it is, but it was one email stood out to me, and I said, I'm gonna book a call. I'm gonna book a call
Hmm.
to see what else they have.
So what?
I
So
literally
so 30
cannot
days
remember.
though. Hold on, because 30 days is a long time to get messages from
Mhm.
somebody, and then one of them stood out. So I know you
Mhm.
probably can't spit it out like exactly, but I'm just curious myself. Like, what was the message that you received from it? Even if you can't remember what it is, what was the thing that kind of made you take action from that email?
I was still searching for the answer that I didn't come up with. I was still searching for it, and it was like you just spit it out, like book a call, see what we have
Yeah,
going on, look at my reviews. I'm like, okay, he's calling me, like let me see what this is, let me at least
yeah,
give it some type of focus.
yeah,
If that
and
does, I hope that makes sense.
yeah, and I think that that's one of the things that it's like, you know, over time, over 30 days, and you're a proactive person, you're like, well, I hadn't figured this out on my own. It seems like this person knows a little bit. I'm getting the emails. I'm seeing them over here. I'm seeing them over there. I'm getting emails. He must be doing something right. He's standing in front of me. Let me just check it out, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Awesome, awesome. And so, been in the program for about 45 days. Um,
Yes.
what do you think's been the most impactful part of the program that you've gone through just up to this point? What's been very eye opening and awesome for you?
I think really learning about the client booking the appointment on their own, and literally learning how that Facebook page, how it all sets up and ties into one, from your ad to your, like, just learning about Facebook in general. I don't know. I didn't know anything about Facebook, how to create it. And I was buying Facebook leads from under other vendors. I was like, oh, this is how it works. And I think the eye opener for me, some of those vendors would be like, oh, well, Facebook has all these different things going on right now, so we're kind of behind. And now you give us updates on what to do, just follow it step by step. I'm like, oh, they really didn't know what they were doing. So it was like a literally an eye opener for me.
Yeah, and then you realize that it's not rocket science. It's one, it's not rocket
Mhm.
science. Two, anybody can do this, and then oh crap, they really didn't know what they were doing,
Right.
and which is amazing because you think that most people know what they think they know what they're doing when it comes to Facebook, but like the information that you get in that training, just seeing those modules and watching those videos, it's like okay, whoever made this course has a depth knowledge, right? And the only way that you really
Right.
kind of have that is just from the experience of using it and spending a lot of capital on doing that. Yeah, so thanks for sharing that. Um, so let's just talk about some of the responses and just the difference, because both sides have the pros and cons of doing it the way
Mhm.
you were doing it and this way. So just to kind of stay on the positive side, let's just talk about some of the pros that you've seen in regards to what has affected you from using this system as opposed to what you were doing before.
Right. So I'll tell you, I put my ad up on May the 19th. I got my first lead the very next day. I called her. It was a situation where she was getting it from her mom, but her mom was in hospice care. So I really couldn't do that. But, I'm like, hey, breaking it down to her how she could probably set something up with the funeral home, but then asking questions about her household. Like, so she scheduled another appointment with me. Then the very next day, I get a booked appointment. I'm like, oh, I get a text message on my phone. Like, okay. So I ended up going on vacation for 4 days the very next week. And I get booked appointment. I had about 3 booked appointments that week within my second week of joining the program. I'm on vacation. I'm about to go to Busch Garden in Florida. I'm in the car. I tell my brother, hey, hold on one second. I got my iPad. I literally wrote that client up in 30 minutes from a booked appointment. I
Wait,
said,
wait, wait.
oh, this
Time
is a
out. Time out.
deal
Time out.
breaker.
Time out. You're in the car on your way to Florida, and you get a booked appointment. So let's talk about that first. What was that like? Like, what was the shift when you look down and you like, wait a minute, I didn't do anything, right? You're not even in the office, and somebody has raised their hand because they saw something that's working 24/7, and somebody raised their hand and say, hey, I want to talk to you, and they booked themselves. What was that like?
It was amazing. Like the feeling was like, wow, like this works. This literally works. The feeling was like that I didn't have to do anything but follow it, let it work while I'm in, because I got on one of the rainmaker calls and you said, even though you're going on vacation, still leave it running. Still leave it running. Like what's leave it running. So I was like, I'm gonna leave this running. And I'm like, I'm on vacation right now and I have a booked appointment. I'm not in the office. All I need is a quiet space. I got my phone. I can write this sale. And I
Yeah.
literally wrote a husband and a wife. So
Yeah. And
first
so,
sale.
and that's amazing because most people have the one part where they have an awesome moment where they have a paradigm shift like, wait a minute, I can get an automated appointment fully booked without doing anything. And then you made a sale, which even more solidifies it. So it's like, okay, so now the entrepreneurial part starts turning. Now it's like, okay, when I get back, right, I'm gonna have a master plan because you
Hmm.
got time to think because you're on vacation and you don't have to really stress because you got a machine working. So pipeline's full, or if you need to turn it up, you can turn it up, right? So that's pretty cool.
Right.
Um, but let's talk about the reception of some of the folks that you talk to was, now as opposed to when you were doing the telemarketer way. What's kind of been some of your reception from when people book themselves or when they raise them hand as a lead and you just got to give them a call?
Yeah, so and I hope I'm not giving away anything, but in one of the videos you told us to ask the question that you asked. Basically, hey, what inspired you to click on my ad? So I've been asking that because it's my ad, it has my name on it, it's my story. And they know who they're talking to. I haven't out of 88 leads that I've gotten, not one of them said, I don't know what this is, or why are you calling me? Not one of them.
Right.
Versus the other leads that I was getting, some of them I ran into, oh, I thought this was about health insurance. Some of them, it's been a long time since I filled that out. Those type of scenarios. So with this, they know they just did it. Even if they didn't book the appointment, they know they just did it. But once they do book the appointment, they booked it themselves. They literally booked it themselves. So it's just an amazing system. I
Yeah.
can't lie.
Yeah. And that part's cool, right? Because they reached out to you, right? And so it really
Hmm.
shifts your positioning, right? As a trusted advisor, when you're going this way, right? You
Hmm.
need something from them, but when it changes to them coming to you, they need something from you. Your authority is more
Right.
respected in this fashion, and you really
Hmm.
can't overcome that sometimes when you're reaching out to somebody and you interrupt them, right? Now, if they're kind of
Right.
expecting it, it's a different story. It's kind of like when you order something from Amazon, but you forget, and somebody kind of shows up,
Yeah.
and you're like, "Who the heck is that?" But then you're like, "Oh, I
Hmm.
ordered some knives or something." It's okay then, right?
Right.
The
Right.
unexpected part is still there, but once you realize that you ordered something, it's expected. It's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, sure, I remember filling that out." And so that's kind of what we're trying to do, right? And we live in 2021. We just came through a pandemic. And so technology was really what got us through all of this. And so it's here to stay. And so that's really what we're just kind of trying to talk through and kind of educate people to work a little bit more efficient, right? So what's your time? Because you talked about your time freedom, right? What's that look
Mhm.
like now?
Right. So for me, it's still the same because you told us you got to be in a 30-day incubator. So my goal, as far as my work ethic, it's not changing yet because I'm trying to get to the point where it can eventually change. I don't think it's just gonna change overnight. So that it's still the same, but it's just now I've incorporated this system, which helps me out even more tremendously. I have more people to talk to, more I would say quality leads. And
Yeah,
I didn't think I would ever be able to say that, but this is
yeah.
quality leads.
Yeah, and you know what? This is a special conversation, and I'm really not realizing this in the moment, which is why I'm taking my time, because I think that a lot of times uh, people are looking for a magic bullet to solve an inefficiency that they have personally, which is
Mhm.
they don't realize how undisciplined they are. Which is why one of the videos in the training is talks about motivation. Why motivation isn't the answer, right? And it's kind of counterintuitive, but it's about discipline, right? And
Mhm.
the insurance business, like we talked about in the beginning, you get what you deserve. And so if your actions are dictating that are that of someone who should be successful, usually that comes with a lot of effort and energy, right? Putting into something. And even with this
Right.
system, you said nothing changed, right? You're still
Mhm.
out there doing it, not letting this kind of replace your activity, but to increase it so that you can get where you need to go faster. And I think that's important because sometimes agents kind of take the foot off the gas or they expect this to be a miracle worker and run their business for them. This is supposed to be something to make your time more valuable, so that you can have more meaningful conversation, but it isn't supposed to replace the activity that you have.
Right. Absolutely. No, no, I 100% agree. Especially most people don't have like a clear vision of where they're going. So typically, it falls in the line of consistency. They're not consistent with a lot of things and they just buy all these different things and think, like you just said, it's a magic pill. Oh, it'll just work itself out. But no, you have to put the work in. The two things I've learned from being in the insurance industry is the only thing you control is your action and your attitudes. And you got to have massive action to get to the results you're looking for. So I 100% agree.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. I mean, there's definitely this is going to be helpful for a lot of agents who see this, and so we live in a world where people are skeptical and sometimes they think things are too good to be true, and they see me on there talking about an automated process to have clients come to you. And so that's why we share stories like this, right? Because nobody can argue with the results because this has been your experience. It's not me just saying it. So
Right.
what would you say to the agents out there that were in your shoes 30 days ago, looking at this, maybe thinking the same thing, that this may be too good to be true, and are kind of on the fence, but still thinking of kind of joining the program and hopping on to try something like this?
So I would say, with things that seem to be too good to be true, most of the time they are. But again, you got to put the work in. You can't think it can supplement anything that you have going on. All it can do is add to it who you already are. And the results will show up by who you are, who you're becoming, who you're growing to be. So when it comes to this Arterial Johnson's consulting agency, when it comes to the program in itself, looking to join in, don't hesitate. Don't take a leap of faith, believe in yourself, and know that you can accomplish the same thing I and so many other people have done because we are all human. We are here to inspire. We have a community that is going to help you. If you have any questions or concerns, just believe in yourself and take that step forward. Because again, if I can get the results I'm looking for, you can too.
Yeah, and that's amazing. And that's like one of the first things I say in the first video is no matter what's going on in this program or in your personal life, the one thing that needs to be a foundation of going through anything new is believing in your ability to figure it out.
That's right.
Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
right.
thank you. This video's got me fired up. I'm super inspired. So thank you for hopping on and kind of sharing that. And so we'll go ahead and wrap this up. But thank you so much for hopping on today.
All right. You're welcome. Thank you.
Take care.